officially to our very short program to commemorate the 100th birthday anniversary of the Highland Park Improvement Club. It's really amazing to see everybody here today. I'm Becca Fong, and I'm going to kind of lead you through the short program today. It was interesting. Some of the folks who were putting this event together today said, "What do you think? Did we do a good job?" And I was like, "You have all of the right people in this room that came today. Each and every one of you that's here today is the right person, and we are so glad that you could make it. Thank you so much." And with that, you guys are here because of the club. The club is an amazing place. And for this entire year, we've been celebrating the centennial of this amazing, not just building, but the place and the feeling that it represents. How many of you guys have been to Corner Bar this year? All right. So you guys have seen through the decades. You know, it's been really amazing. A lot of great folks have put a lot of work into kind of providing those themes. I think what it's done is it's given us that time to really reflect on kind of what we like to think of as the good old days. And as we've gone further, you realize that all of the days are the good old days. There are good things, there are bad things, there are ups, there are downs, and through it all, the community and the Highland Park Improvement Club has been there to sustain the neighborhood. As that neighborhood has changed, it has been a huge, huge thing. It's been pretty great. Apparently I have a special guest. Awesome dude. So one thing, I was thinking about it this morning, like what can you say about the club? It's really what, you know, how short can I make these remarks? I mean, the club means so much to everybody in this room. It means a lot to me. And bear with me, I wanted to share a little bit, a very small story about my time with the Improvement Club. We used to live right up the street, and in the early 2000s, my husband and I, we joined the Improvement Club. We were like, what is that building down the street? We gotta go check that out. And so we came to a meeting, and at the time, the average membership age was about 70. The membership was dwindling, but it was really an amazing place. And I have to say, I am really very pleased to see a lot of those faces that I saw at my very first Highland Park Improvement Club meeting in the room today. Thank you guys for being here. And it was really interesting to find out about the history of this amazing place, what they were doing, and that they were struggling. You know, the Improvement Club had been such a big part of their lives for a very, very, very long time. And they wanted to know how to keep it going. They weren't quite sure. And so what they did was they invited us to the dances. Oh, the dances. This stage right here, there would be a live band. And I don't know about most of you in this room, I did not grow up dancing. But the live band was going. People asked me to dance. One gentleman over there took my breath away every time he spun me on the floor. And I think that all of us can share in that sentiment who went to those dances and got to know the folks that were there as we sat in our chairs, exhausted at the end of a night of dancing, raising our glasses. We thought, this place has got to go on. We are going to figure out a way to make that happen. And as we got to know all of the folks and we gained their trust, we gained the knowledge from all the experiences that they had had from the decades that they had sustained this place, that we were able to build a bridge over the last 20 years and find the amazing ways to bring all of the rest of you here and to have this be an incredibly special place for each and every one of you as well. So thank you so much for being here. This 100 years is amazing. It's just, how do you build something in a community? It's not just the building. It's not just the place. It's not just the programs. It's not the activities. It's finding something that is in the community, that is for the community, and that is of the community. And that is what has made this place last for 100 years. And I am damn sure that it's going to be here for another 100 years, thanks to every single one of you in this building, including this one. We're going to use that energy to work on some projects. Once he's cleared to work with tools. So like I said, we are here to socialize with everybody, but we do want to acknowledge the amazingness of this club, and we have a few people here that are going to help commemorate it in a very official and very special way. So I'd like to bring up Kay Kirkpatrick, who's a trustee of the club, and she is going to acknowledge the physical place that is this club.
Thank you, Becca. Hopefully I can speak loud enough. So I'm just here to briefly begin our ceremony today. We're so proud to acknowledge that we meet here on Indigenous land, the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people. And we're so proud to be joined today by Lupe Barnes, the Duwamish Board President. Thank you for coming. When I was asked to speak that important recognition, it gave me a chance to think a little bit more about HPIC, its history, and the community. It also has reminded me of a humbling and powerful way how important land ownership is in our culture. Because we were gifted this land the building stands on, we have been able to maintain our communal ownership of it to today. We've had this unique opportunity to build friendship, advocate for community, and control the course of our neighborhood future. The stewardship that sits at the heart of the meaning of this place for me is the core value of my work as a board member. The control of the land is so important, and I just wanted to acknowledge that we are so lucky to own this property. That's mostly what I was trying to say. I got a little incoherent. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Now I'd like to introduce our King County Council member, Joe McDermott.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be able to celebrate the centennial of the Highland Park Improvement Club with you today. Place and community are really vital to what we do. I know that as a third generation West Seattleite, fourth generation Seattle. It took us a generation to find West Seattle. And family, place, and community have always meant a lot to me and really been rooted here in West Seattle. In fact, it's some of that rooting that led to my first visit to the Highland Park Improvement Club. I earned my high school movie money and my college beer money working at Husky Deli.
All right.
And one of my first visits to the club was delivering catering from Husky Deli to an event here. Later, volunteering for a campaign, long before I ever ran for office myself, volunteering for a campaign on election day, drove a voter to a polling place here at the Highland Park Improvement Club. You remember polling places? And in some ways, that's exactly why we miss polling places, because they speak to community and that opportunity to come together with our neighbors. But this club continues to do that in so many important and valuable ways. I'm pleased to be able to celebrate with you today and observe and point out that For Culture, the county's historic preservation entity, has awarded a grant to the Improvement Club for some of the roof work and structural work here in the building to make sure that it's here for another century. And wherever we are in a sense of place and community, we celebrate that today, and we have the opportunity to carry it forward. Thank you so much for letting me join you today, and let's keep enjoying all the work we can do here together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's true. This used to be my polling place as well, and I do miss that. I mean, it's a place to bring people together. And it's great that the community exists to bring people together in so many other ways. Next up, I want to introduce Julie Schickling, past president, current treasurer, secretary. Okay, doesn't matter.
I'm Vanna.
And Julie's here to read out a very important document about a century of incorporation from the Secretary of State of Washington.
Thanks, Becca.
Thanks, Vanna.
So,
Do you got Dina?
From the Secretary of State. Dear Highland Park Improvement Club community, congratulations on your 100th anniversary of incorporation. I regret not being able to deliver the attached certificate in person, but a last-minute request to take part in an election reform conference in Washington, D.C. came up. Sounds important. It was on Friday, November 28th, 1919, at 4:16 in the afternoon, that community activist and union lawyer Tom Alderson filed incorporation papers for the DeMar Outland Improvement Club with Secretary of State Howell in the old state capitol. The club was incorporated to acquire, maintain, and operate a clubhouse for the new community of Highland Park, for which the club's name was changed to a few years later. The incorporation documents also noted that the corporation was set up specifically to encourage and promote social intercourse and good fellowship among its members, to disseminate educational instruction, and to promote and upbuild the social condition and advance the interests of the district of the city in which its members reside. It is important to note that of the nearly 3,000 incorporations filed in 1919, only 22 exist today, and the majority of those are religious and fraternal organizations. On behalf of the people of the state of Washington, I congratulate you and all those assembled and hope for another 100 years for growth and positive contributions to your local community, the city of Seattle, and this great state. Sincerely, Kim Wyman, Secretary of State.
Right on. All right.
Wow, 1 of 22 of 3,000 from incorporation in 1919. That is some staying power, and I have no doubt that we won't be here in 100 years, but somebody will be here in 100 years standing in this spot having some other kind of an amazing celebration for this very thing. The next person I'd like to bring up is our very own City Council member, Lisa Herbold. Neighbor and advocate for the club and the neighborhood. Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It feels really great to be here after what I've been doing for the last 11 months. And I want to thank you for the support you've given me. The support this facility has given me. I think I've come to this improvement club for lots of different things over the years. I've taken yoga classes here. I've gone to Corner Bar. I've gone to Highland Park Action Council meetings, and I think the way that most demonstrates the reverence I have for this physical space is the fact that I've had 2 campaign kickoffs here. And that is my testament to what this place means to me and my recognition of what it means to you. Cultural anchors are really important to communities as they change. They are a bridge to our history, but in particular, this facility is its longevity is I think a real tribute to the tenacity of people who came before us, and a promise of more persistence and longevity, a promise of that to come in the future and future generations. So I'm really honored to be here with you today, and I want to share with you a proclamation from Mayor Jenny Durkin honoring this facility as well as the people who have made it possible. Whereas the Highland Park Improvement Club was founded in 1909 and incorporated on November 28, 1919, and whereas the residents that moved into the Highland Park neighborhood decided they needed a meeting and social center, and whereas since its founding, the club has focused on improving the neighborhood and working on community issues, and was a site of the Works Progress Administration in the 1930s, whereas the Highland Park Improvement Club is owned by the community, empowered by volunteers who have maintained the club, and provided services and activities to the community. And whereas the club serves as a gathering place for the community, hosting events that promote local artists, performers, and businesses. And whereas the City of Seattle is proud to recognize the Highland Park Improvement Club's success in bringing their community together through the power of their passionate volunteers for the past 100 years. Now therefore, I, Jenny Durkin, Mayor of Seattle, do hereby proclaim November 28th, 2019 to be Highland Park Improvement Club Day.
That is just unbelievable, right? Oh my God, Highland Park Improvement Club Day, the 28th, 100 years. That is an amazing, amazing thing.
And the 28th is Thanksgiving, remember?
The 28th is Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for this year. Absolutely. So we have a couple more guests that I'd like to bring up to acknowledge a special day. I'd like to call up Ms. Martha Mallett, Mr. Ron Angeles, and Nicole Mazza.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Greetings, everybody. Hey, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Because it's truly a beautiful day for me. I came to Highland Park when I was 14 years old. I came up that big hill, and I thought it was, heaven knows where this place is, because I came from Green Lake. Never heard of Highland Park. Came when I was 14 years old. I went to West Seattle High School and graduated. My first job, by the way, I'm another Husky sodager. I was blue in the face. Then I worked when I was only a teenager. I was worked for Todd Shipyards on Harbor Island. My main object today is to represent those that came before you. I'm going to call you by name. Don and Marge Sherrard. Dorothy Singer. Ms. Colasca. Ms. Colson. All of you stand. I want to see you. I want to see you guys. I want to see you. Now you can see why one had to go and get busy and get this club black and line again. And it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Pretty obvious what was happening. I don't like to use the word old. It's not in my vocabulary. Let's call them seniors and be polite. But I've got a listing of stuff that I hope will find of interest. I'm going back a long time at the start, because this at the very beginning it was all dirt. It was tall trees. And those that began this club had to log this property. They had, there was a company called the Dumar Company. The Dumar Company sold the big property with trees for $10, and the members grabbed it. So what I am about to tell you is the things that have happened in the past, not only in our group, But even before us, the seniors before the seniors, one thing we did do that kept the club going was the monthly dances. When I started here, I was 30 years old. And you can do the math. I'm still here. I came in 1958. You do the math. Now, I've got a paper here that is helping me. I got so many things I want to tell you. I don't know where to start. But this group, years ago, we had to add this addition on. This is the 1970s. And we had good rentals, but we had to donate some money. But we sold bonds, and we had to put interest on them. And then at each meeting, they would draw straws to see who one person could get their money back, and then the person next month would get some more. Then in the olden days, the city was hounded to put a sewer system here. And it was to help the West Duwamish Greenbelt. And during the Depression, which you guys don't know anything about, fortunately or unfortunately, I do remember the days. But it headquartered the Federal Works Administration, or what you would probably know as the WPA. They helped with the infrastructure and also parks. Therefore, it gave a lot of people employment. They convinced the city to put a light down on Delridge Way, and they convinced the city to place the utility poles on Boeing Hill was so close to the roadway that we had to order the city to push them back, otherwise we'd be in trouble. We also urged the city to build a high school in West Seattle, and I'm sure that was meaning Chief Self. We hosted pancake breakfast for Jubilee Days, and at those days we sponsored a princess. And then we went on to sponsor Salvation Army football, swim teams, Little League, Babe Ruth teams, adult softball teams, and we have some of these guys wave at us, you guys on the softball team. We sponsored local troops of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. The members put up the decorations for Jubilee Days in the White Center Business District. We gave to the Salvation Army, the cystic fibrosis research, cancer research, the White Center Library. We helped buy the Welcome to White Center sign, by the way, and we contributed to the play equipment at Riverview Playfield. Then I want to especially call on the people that started after I got going. I got going one night at a meeting, and there's very few of us there. And we were folding. It really struck me hard. This place cannot go away. I made up my mind. This place is not going to go away. So we had a meeting, and I remember the lady in the front row facing me. I was secretary for 13 years at the end. I've been a vice president, I've been a president, I've been secretary, my husband's been a president. I couldn't let it go. So I told the membership, I said, I'm going to call meetings in my home, which I did. The lady in the front row, she must be nuts. Yeah, I will never forget that look on that lady's face. It's not going to work, Martha. It's absolutely not going to work. So I called on my buddy, and he's standing right here giving me support. He's the district coordinator for the Delridge district, and I called him up. Help! I need names, I need phone numbers. We're going to have meetings in my house. We're going to do something. Without him, I wouldn't have got the names, without the phone numbers. And then what happens? Rhonda and Julie gets on the email, they get on the phone, they got all this new ways of communicating. Pretty soon we've got members coming in. These people had to be a member in the club 2 years before they could be an officer in our club. So those of you, Rhonda, Julie, Kay, all those that are #1 officers, please wave at me. I want to see you. I want to see you. Couldn't have done it without this one. Couldn't have done it without these people stepping forward. Kay Kirkpatrick, where are you? Kay Kirkpatrick, I love her. She's my favorite one. And I'll tell you why. You can, one guess.
Please do, Martha.
She replaced me. So, therefore, I love her. I love basically everyone. I'm in the loop, people, and I love them. I love them. Now I've got a list of these people that step forward of what they've done, and there's no way I can touch on it all. I'd be up here all day. But some of the things that I want you to know that they have done here is one of the most successful things they do is the corner bar. It's the first Friday of every month. And I've been here, I show up when I can. I come to the good things and the fun things. So they do the corner bar, and it's open to all of you, even your babies. Even the babies come to that one. They have a monthly family night. They have classes that help sometimes launch businesses for people in the area. They have a spring cleanup, and it's coordinated with the city of Seattle. They have a wine tasting event in May. And if you don't get your reservations in, you aren't going to get a seat. There's 150 people that come to this. So if you're coming to the wine tasting, get your reservations in April. You won't be disappointed. The raffle is outstanding. But how I look at this is the background work of all the volunteers that make this possible. Yes, the officers are super, but there are so many out there, and I know who you are. I know who the volunteers are. I know you, and you're in the background. You're getting no credit but from me. I love you. I love you volunteers. You wouldn't make it. So, and I'm sure there's more people out here after today that will come forth and volunteer also.
Yeah.
They do, this is the yummy part, is a potluck in October called the Harvest Dinner. And you bring canned food, and it's donated to those that are in a nearby church. Then there's a holiday bazaar, which I just attended last week. They have holiday wreath making. They have a New Year's Eve party that's different. Different than I know. They have a parade. I've never heard of a New Year's Eve parade, but they do. They go around the neighborhood and greet everybody. And then there's, sometimes there's a fire dance, and then they come inside. Then it's party time. But they have changed the bylaws. They have turned it, this is the hard part. Now visualize, I'm talking again about behind the scenes, from a nonprofit status to a profit.
No, another way.
That's very time consuming. They put a rain garden out here in a cistern and a courtyard, and 100% of the water from this building goes in the sewer. So they must have got a grant for that too. But what I find appealing about the courtyard, I go out there, the children are playing tag, the kids have got scooters, they're having a good time out there. They put a solar system on the roof that also required a grant. Once again, we've got to have volunteers to do the paperwork on that. They got a liquor license in 2016. They got private rentals to classes. They have implemented Wi-Fi in the building. They've implemented a website. They have implemented an email account. They're on the social media accounts. They do online banking. Wow. Credit card processing. Audio and visual systems. And they got, this you gotta see, especially the Sherrards and Spries and Culbertson and Prohaska and Ziegler. You gotta see the kitchen.
Yeah.
It looks a lot better than when we were here. But in closing, I want this understood. But there's a lot of people in here that are not going to understand what I have about to say. But this place has been so much of my life, so much of my husband's life. And to see all of you here is so gratifying at my age. I've been here since I was 30 years old. So those that understand and know me, Mother Mallet is going to quote from Mother Teresa. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Thank you all.
And now Mr. Ron Andros has the unfortunate situation of following Miss Martha Mallet.
Well, congratulations to the club, 100 years, that's fantastic, it's awesome. I don't know if many of you know, but I'm also a product of Highland Park. Like Martha, I came to Highland Park in the 5th grade. I attended Highland Park Elementary School. I came from High Point, and at the time, High Point was not, I would say, very diverse. There was, most of the kids there were Caucasian, and maybe a handful of African Americans, and me. And then my parents moved over to Delridge, or just off of Delridge Way, and I was able to transfer over here to Highland Park. And that was an awakening, because everybody at Highland Park was white. And so it was kind of intimidating, but I just want to say that Highland Park has a tradition of being a very welcoming community. I have one of my Highland Park brothers right over here, Mike Lobdell. I haven't seen Mike in probably 20 years or so, but it was just great to walk into this building and see my brother right over here. We played baseball and other things. So I'm like totally blessed. I worked for the Department of Neighborhoods for about 32 years or so, and about 2/3 of that time was here in the Delridge neighborhood. And then I retired in like 2011, and I just want to say that I have the opportunity now to go to other neighborhoods. I live in Rainier Beach. You guys are the envy of a lot of other neighborhoods in Seattle. I live in, like I mentioned, I live in Rainier Beach. They're still trying to figure out how you guys do that corner bar thing, or the wine tasting thing. So, and I don't want to, put my neighborhood down, but you guys have just taken it to the next level, and you're really, the model for so many other neighborhoods. Let's see, just a little bit of detail about how I met Martha. It was called the Gathering of Neighbors, and it was a big resource fair that they were having at South High School. And this woman comes up to me and she goes, "I have to talk to you. And I know who you are." And the one that put it over the top was like, "And I have pictures of you." And so she went on to mention that her late husband, Bob Mallett, was my basketball coach when I played with Mike Lobdell over at Red Shield, which is the Southwest Salvation Army now. And so when she mentioned pictures, okay, it said, I better listen to this woman, because I don't want to get in more trouble. So anyway, again, congratulations. Awesome community, awesome event, and let's have another 100.
Before I introduce our current president, I just wanted to say, Ron really hit the nail on the head, as did Martha, which is Highland Park inherently, over the past 100 years, is a very welcoming place. That's what it is. You walk in here and you feel like you belong. And in a city that is growing super rapidly, we're all super busy. Everyone runs by in a giant blur. Like that feeling when you walk in, and whether somebody knows you or not, they know you and they're so happy that you are here. And that feeling is what has sustained this club and just makes me love this place more than anything. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Nicole Mazza, who is the current president of the Highland Park Improvement Club. And her hard work, as well as all the other folks who are currently involved, really keep it going and make it happen.
Welcome, everybody. As Becca said, my name is Nicole Mazza, and I have the distinct privilege of being the current president. Following people like Martha and Rhonda, the shoes are very big, and it's sometimes daunting, but it's a true honor and blessing to be in this role and to be a part of this amazing community club that we have here. My husband and I moved here about 12 years ago, and when we moved to this neighborhood, I can honestly say we didn't know a single soul. But in the time that we've been here, I can count over 100 people that I know by name within about a 6-block radius. And anybody that knows me, I'm very detail-oriented, so yes, I made a list. And I can name more than 100 neighbors that I know by name. And how in the world does that even happen? I don't think that happens anywhere. And so in reflecting on that, it happens here, it happens in Highland Park, and I believe it happens because of this very special place that we're all standing in today, the Highland Park Improvement Club. I first got involved when we moved here as part of the action committee when we learned that they're going to put a jail at the bottom of the hill. And this community, I mean, we had only lived here for a few months, but they joined together as one unified voice and stood very tall and fought back against that. And we do not have a jail at the bottom of that hill. So I'm very proud of what we started on. But from that very moment, I was hooked. I got more involved in the action committee, and then I'm like, but then there's also the Highland Park Improvement Club. And I had an opportunity to bartend for 5 years when we did Corner Bar. It was amazing. But through coming to Corner Bar, through getting more involved, through opportunities to create things here in this neighborhood, you just realize that this place it has a heart, it has a soul. You feel it when we're all together in a room like today. You feel it when you come to Corner Bar and you're meeting new neighbors, or you're meeting, hanging out with your friends and kids are watching live music. You feel it out on Corked. It's not just a fundraiser, it's not just wine tasting, although that is a benefit, but it's showcasing community and artists and businesses and building new connections, and just that spirit that we seem to be able to embody here. I just couldn't be prouder to be a part of that. One last thing that I wanted to say, I feel like everything else has been said, but as I reflect that we've been in here for 100 years, I really wish I knew the first group of people that got together to create the Highland Park Improvement Club. They had to have been amazing. Because really they created something from nothing. They had a need, they had to be feisty, they had to be committed, dedicated people to say we have a need here and to make it happen. I hope that they reflect on us and are proud of what we've accomplished. I know I've seen the club change a whole lot over the past 12 years that even I've been here. And it is never lost on me that we own this building as a neighborhood. I mean, just that fact alone is incredible. And it's all volunteer powered. So it is what we make it. It is what it is because of all the volunteers and all the people that dedicate their time and their effort and their heart and their soul and their food and their talents across the board. I mean, we are a product of our of the people that live in this neighborhood. And then Highland Park Improvement Club is an image of the people that invest in it. And I'm incredibly proud to be a part of that. I just want to read... to really quickly read the mission or the vision of the Highland Park Improvement Club. It's to be the heart of the neighborhood, a resource loved by the community, embodying the spirit of the Highland Park. I hope you all feel that right now, that we are all here embodying the spirit of Highland Park, and that we leave here inspired and committed to see what is possible for the next 100 years. Thank you guys for coming.
All right, you guys have been super patient. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see everybody here. In closing, we have a couple of things. We have some really great things to kind of add to the mementos that are around the room. We have a photo booth. We also have some note cards for folks to fill out for their dreams and their wishes and their memories of this place. So they last, because in 100 years, I'm sure somebody will think, I wonder who was here 100 years ago. I bet they were awesome. And as I look around this room, damn straight, we are awesome. You guys are wonderful. We're so glad you're here. We are going to be here for about another hour for the open house. So please, take part in some of the fun activities here. Look around. If you do not know somebody, please introduce yourself, because they are your neighbor and very soon to be your friend. Yay. So thank you guys very much. In closing, we have something that I didn't realize was actually a tradition, as Rich is poking his head out of here, that we used to close many a dance down with. Everybody who can stand up, stand on up.